Hello Aries, this is your September forecast. It's a very big month, September. I've been talking about it for a few months now, and here it's nearly upon us. We've got eclipses, two very powerful eclipses coming up this month, one on the 13th, one on the 28th. We've got Venus, planet of love, and also ruling your finances, going direct. And Saturn finally coming into Sagittarius, where it's going to stay until the end of 2017. And if that wasn't enough, we've also got Mercury going retrograde. Let me break it down for you personally, Aries. So on the 7th of this month, we've got Venus here in your 5th house going direct. It's been retrograde since the end of July. Now you may find after the 7th of the month is a wonderful time to take action in your relationships, to actually do something. You may have come to a decision about a romance, about somebody who's already in your life. Maybe somebody came back in your life to test you, to see whether you might accept them back, and maybe you've said, no, this is no good for me anymore. I can see this relationship is truly over. Or maybe there's somebody new come into your life at this time, and then as Venus goes direct, you're wondering what exciting new direction this relationship's going to go into. I must say, as an astrologer, when Venus goes retrograde, the time just about before it goes retrograde and the time just after it goes direct is one of the busiest times for me, especially because I specialize in relationship astrology, because this is the time when relationships are triggered. So I'm expecting a lot of changes to be happening in your relationships, Aries, and for you to be changing how you see yourself within those relationships. It's a great time as well for those of you who are in business for yourself. Maybe you've been reflecting on turning something you enjoy into a business. Maybe you're wondering how to grow an existing idea that you've got. Once Venus goes direct, it should be a whole lot easier for you. Venus direct should also free up anything that may have been stuck, connected with your finances as well. That too can move forward. And on the 13th of September, we have got a new moon solar eclipse happening here in Virgo in your 6th house. So much activity for you here in this 6th house, Aries. The 6th house has everything to do with your work. So this solar eclipse could bring some new opportunities connected with your work. I must say that usually for a couple of weeks before a solar eclipse, it's not a wise idea to take a very important decision or to really make some very important plans, because usually they don't quite turn out as you anticipate. But nonetheless, this is a new beginning for you here with respect to your physical health, your physical well-being. Jupiter is going to bring you, excuse me, some good fortune. If maybe you've been having some health challenges, the sun is going to help you. It's there until the 23rd of the month. You may find somebody or a method of healing that can really help you. And this eclipse, whenever there's an eclipse in a house, it means, especially a solar eclipse, sun and moon coming together, this is a wonderful time for a new beginning. Maybe you'll finish the job that you're in and have a new beginning. Maybe there'll be a new opportunity to move into a different role. Maybe you'll just decide to go it alone and become self-employed. But certainly a lot of changes connected with your work area. This eclipse is especially powerful because Jupiter is magnifying it. So whatever is great is happening is going to be magnified. Whatever you consider not to be so great may also be magnified. But do remember that some of our hardest lessons and experiences are an opportunity for some new doors to open up. So it can end up being the best thing that ever happened to you. And on the 18th of September, we've got a lot of action here. So this eclipse starts a lot of things in motion. And on the 18th of September, we've got Mercury going retrograde until the 9th of October. in your 7th house, and we've got Saturn finally going into Sagittarius. So for the first 2 weeks of the month, while Saturn is in your 8th house, still retrograde, those last bits of retrograde action. We've certainly seen it globally, everything with Greece, with the EU, with economies, with currencies, much happening with the powers that be, and debts to be repaid. So here, looking for you for those first couple of weeks of the month, Aries, are there any debts to be repaid? Is there anything that needs to be sorted, finalised as far as your financial situation is concerned? It's also a good time to look at anything concerned with survival. Have you got some basics around you just in case the electricity goes down, just in case the distribution channels go down and there's some bad weather? Not suggesting it's going to happen in September, but eclipses very often trigger extremes in weather. So this Saturn would be a good time to plan for that while it's retrograde. So it moves into your 9th house, where it's going to stay, Aries, until the end of 2017. And this is going to challenge a lot of your belief systems. What do you believe? What's important to you? It may take you on a deep spiritual quest. It may also take you into some very serious education. You may decide, hey, you know, I want to do some higher education. I want to learn something new that really can take my career onto a new and better level. And also, you may become more public. It may take you more into the public eye. It would also be a good time during this couple of year period to look at doing international business. The 9th house is the international house, travel house, and Saturn would rule anything connected with business connections. And any business connections that you make during a Saturn type of energy are often long-lasting, very sturdy. And we've got this Mercury retrograde happening in your 7th house of relationships. So we've had that Venus retrograde triggering thoughts about relationships. A Mercury retrograde in relationships is a good time really to think about your relationships again, to think about the way you communicate in your relationships. Because the way we communicate our needs, sometimes we're like little children and we want to throw a tantrum. I'm not getting my needs met, you're not listening to me enough. It's about thinking about what are your needs in your relationships? Where are you not satisfied? Where are your needs not being met? No use blaming somebody else. When a retrograde happens, it's time to look inwards and look inside. And that retrograde will give you the opportunity to do that. On the 24th of September, we've got the Sun coming into your 7th house of relationships, shining a light further on everything to do with your relationships. And it's also a good time actually for meeting somebody new. Although I must say, while Mercury is retrograde until October the 9th, it might not be the best time to take serious action, but just to maybe observe somebody, study somebody. Maybe observe them from a distance and then take your action towards the middle of October. On the 25th of September, we've got Mars changing sign, going into your 6th house of work. This indicates a busy period. Going to be busy, going to have lots of things on your plate, but nonetheless, you're going to be able to get a lot done. And finally, on the 28th of September, last but certainly not least, Aries, we've got a full moon lunar eclipse in your sign, Aries, 4 degrees of Aries in your 1st house. And this is a very powerful energy for you. Whenever a lunar eclipse happens in the 1st house, of course, it's getting energized by Uranus. So many Aries I know have had a great deal of upheaval since 2011 when Uranus went into your sign. And this here, a lunar eclipse here, may mean a completion, something ending, something coming to light that maybe you hadn't wanted to see, maybe in a relationship, since the relationship houses are so triggered this month. Maybe this is an awakening of really seeing a situation. Now, it could be a very nice awakening, could be something that says, ah, now I see something in this person that maybe I hadn't seen before. And equally, with it happening in your first house, you may find something out about yourself that you hadn't known before. Maybe you find out that you enjoy something new you thought you wouldn't like, or you start to learn something that you hadn't thought you wanted to study. Maybe you're going to study astrology and really understand how much astrology can help you in your life. So there are all kinds of aspects happening this month. I think that your relationships are going to be in probably the biggest focus this month. The eclipses are going to be stirring us up globally as well as personally. So I'm expecting a lot to be happening this month, and because of that, I decided that this was a great time on September 12th to give another seminar. There will be an opportunity to be online this time, I'm hoping, and if not, there will be highlights of it certainly recorded for those of you that cannot make it to London. But this seminar, I'll do another video about it, but it's going to be all about your relationships and how we understand one another, how we communicate. Because you can have the best sexual chemistry with someone, but if you can't communicate and you're not getting through to one another, that's when the frustrations and the problems start. So I'm very excited to share this seminar with you. I think you'll learn a lot about yourself, and you'll learn a lot about the other people in your life and how you can learn to understand those differences and make allowances for those differences. So, Aries, I wish you a great month. I think it's going to be exciting. You like excitements, it's going to be exciting. Thank you very much for commenting, sharing, listening, subscribing to my free newsletter. I am always delighted to hear from you. Bye for now.